Start recording.
Hey everyone, it's JLS1114 here with another video for you guys. This is the second video that is in my grief series that I just started. If you did not see the video up a couple days ago, it's entitled Grief Series Video Opener, My Grief Story. So basically in that video, I just give some background on my experiences I've been having with grief these past 2 years, as well as why I started this series. So if you haven't seen that, definitely go check that out. But in this video, I want to talk about people's approaches when they encounter and are dealing with somebody who is in mourning. Some people, I'm gonna say some people I know mean well, and probably honestly really don't realize how they're coming across, how they're being. So I just want to talk about some common things that I know has happened to me and others. But I on this subject alone, I could make several videos on it. I may possibly maybe make a second, but I won't keep going crazy with it, but I'm just telling you that's I could go on and on with that. So I just want to talk about some common things that has happened to me and others in this video, and also talk about approaches that would be better to help those that really want to help somebody. Okay? So, here are some common things that happened. One, we do not like the question, so how did they die? If you don't really know somebody and you just heard about it, please don't just come up to us and just say, so how'd they die? Or, and if you do know us, but you didn't really pay attention to us, don't just come up and say, so how did they die? I mean, honestly, it's a very insensitive question. It really is. I have actually even had someone who was supposedly a good friend of my fiance, and he asked that question, and he had the nerve to kind of have an argument with me over it in text. You know, he didn't even think about my feelings. He was just like, he was just like, well, I don't see why it's such a problem. It's an obvious curiosity. You can be curious, but see, this is what makes it a real problem. Some people I know didn't care about myself, didn't care about my family, didn't even care about the loss. In this case, actually for both my fiance and my brother. Didn't give a damn. They were just being nosy. And this is, if you really honest to goodness care, don't start with that question. Like, that's the thing. People start that question. They don't first say, how are you doing? I heard the bad news. I'm sorry. They just come with, they see you like, so how'd he die? It's not a good look. It's just not. It's really not. I mean, it really comes off rude. Honestly does. You know, and when you're grieving and you're really upset, like, it's not a comfortable thing. It's like making us relive things. Um, and like I said, or you're just being nosy. And some people have come up, just asked, started with that question, which is a big no-no, and then walked away. Especially if I decide not to answer them. And just say, look, I'm not calling. And then they're no longer interested. If you really, really honest to goodness care, you could say, hey, what else could I do for you? You don't just end it there. And that's what people have done. You know, and it's just so rude, disrespectful. It really is, guys. So that's one. Before I get into a couple of other things, like I said, I also want to talk about better approaches. So here is one tip for you, for all of you out there, okay? And that is really, and I do mean really, truly, think before you talk. Really think about it. Like, truly think about it, because I really feel like people do not think before they talk. How would you, and really put yourself in that person's shoes. I mean, obviously, if you haven't been in these shoes, it's definitely one of those things you have to, well, I don't want to say have to, because I don't wish this pain on anyone, not even my worst enemy. But if you know, just think about somebody that you care for, and they were gone. Would you want to say, would you want this done to you? You're pouring your heart and soul out, really upset, just dealing with it. So how'd they die? Well, you're upset. You know, or the other things that I'm going to talk about. So just try to put yourself in our shoes as much as you can. And really thoroughly think it before you do your approach. Okay? Another thing. Well, they're in a better place now. And I'm sure people are trying to be nice when they say that. But to be honest with you, grief, people are always different. They say stages, but now they're starting to call it tasks. That's a whole nother video in itself. But anyway, I'm going to say people deal with grief in very different ways. And start in very different areas. And how I'm sure it may sound like you're being nice and sincere and trying, you know, they're in a better place. But to be honest with you, it's not. One, it said so much. It's like, get new material, people. It's, you know, it's almost like that's on a script somewhere kind of thing. But honestly, it's not even anything nice. Like I said, I'm sure people mean well when most people say that, but for us, for some people, they're gonna look at it as they're in a better place. They should still be here with me, you know. People are, depending on the situation, people are gonna be like, they're in a better place. Well, this shouldn't have happened. How can they be in a better place without me? You know? In some senses, they probably are in a better place. You know? But It's actually a very hurtful comment. It's something that most people may not even be ready for or even believe. So just think about that before you think about saying that to somebody. Again, just think before you say. Here's another thing. When time goes by, people, don't forget about us. And so that's another approach I want to say. Just don't forget about us. And in tied with that, let's talk about time. Okay? Don't put a stamp on somebody's grief. It's not helpful when people also come up to us and use the approach and saying of, you know what, time has passed. Enough time has passed. I don't care if it's been a year, guys, 2 years. You know, time has passed. So it's time to move on. You know? There is no time on somebody grieving. There's not. Honestly, there's not. And it's none helpful to try to push somebody along like that. It's really not. So here's another tip for you guys. Take that grieving person to lead. Take the time to listen. Truly listen to what they're saying. A lot of people are quick to say things where they feel that person should be, how they should do it, and what they should feel. And they're so quick to do all that, they're not truly listening to what that person is saying. If you listen to their words, listen to what they're saying, to what you're saying, like truly take the time to pause, quiet, and listen. And pay attention to their actions of what they're trying to tell you. It's probably that you'll have a better idea of maybe what you should really be doing or not be doing. To try to dictate that to a grieving person is really not the way to do it. It's really not. So that's just a couple of things I just wanted to hit upon. Another thing I just want to, tip I want to leave you guys with is, again, I'm sure most of the time people do mean well. But if you're not careful, you're going to push a person more away. And honestly, it already hurts enough to have lost somebody. There's so many more parts to what it may seem like on the surface to you guys. So many more parts. And again, you don't fully get it in the experience unless you end up living it. What a very devastating loss. So, just be patient. That person. Listen, like I said. And it'll make all the difference in the world. Because if you don't do these things, when you want to push the person away, you'll make them feel worse. Doesn't help. Anyway, if anybody has any further questions, comments, please let's not be rude, let's be respectful. I'm here for anyone just trying to spread awareness, more understanding of all this, as well as be there for people. Anyway, thank you again for watching. Have a good day.
Stop recording.